Part of the reason why leaking urine, pain problems like in the hips, the low back, and issues with vaginal heaviness or symptoms that suggest prolapse is because a lot of CrossFitters or athletes participating in other sports, whether it's running or something else, when they go to pelvic floor physical therapy, hopefully they do, and they learn how to connect to their core, they stop after learning the fundamentals. My name is Dr. Jocelyn Conley. I'm a pelvic floor physical therapist and co-founder of the Vagina Docs. And in this video, I'm going to guide you through a sequence that is specifically for CrossFitters that you can work on to improve your deep core and pelvic floor connection so that you do not leak during your workouts, or you don't have issues such as recurrent pain, or move in such a way that you're actually feeding into the problem. If you have not checked out the video on basic core connection, so connecting to the pelvic floor, connecting to the transversus abdominis, connecting to optimal breathing patterns, and then doing that together, be sure to check that video out because those are the fundamentals. This video is for you if you're looking to take that more into a sport-specific setting and you want to do drills that will carry over into the actual workouts. I'm going to cover a core connection sequence in a progressive sequence where you're holding poses. So we're going to do the front rack, we're going to do standing front rack, and then an overhead barbell hold. Know that in this video, we're going to cover just mainly positional holds. Positional holds allow us to build endurance within the deep core system because that's the job of the deep core system. It's to maintain postural positioning, neutral spine, or set a foundation for the outer core muscles to do their job. But do know that the next step then is learning how to modulate this stuff when we're moving, doing snatches, doing strict work or whatever it is in the gymnastics world or the weight training world. So what you'll need to do these exercises will be a barbell or a weight of some sort. You can modify and do it in such a way that matches whatever it is that you want to do. So we start in the standing position. Think about a lot of our movements in CrossFit. We're going to be squatting, we're going to be pressing, we're going to be jerking. All of it starts from a standing position at some point. First thing to consider is alignment. If we're starting from this position, shoulders rolled forward, head forward, we are already setting ourselves up for success. A notorious position for CrossFitters would be either the excessive arch in the low back or the excessive pelvic tuck or flat bum. We want to find neutral position. Now keep in mind, holding neutral position requires a connection to the deep core that eventually becomes automatic. So I naturally would stand like this, but I've been working on getting better at just having my deep core effortlessly hold me here, and my shoulders are a heck of a lot healthier. I don't have as much pressure or any pressure down here. So good alignment is going to be so that our ankles, knees, and hips are stacked, our shoulders and hips are stacked, our ear is over our shoulder, and we're standing tall. From here, where we begin in this sequence is just focusing on breath. So taking either a minute of breathing in and out, and as we breathe, we're going to open up the ribs first, initiating from the ribs, allowing the belly to fill, allowing the pelvic floor to fill as well. And we're going to just keep this position as we're breathing. After we do our breathing sequence, the next exercise is in this same position. And by the way, you can hold a kettlebell. We could really add a lot to these positions, but from here, we're going to connect to the TA. So remember, the TA is going to be, you gently draw your belly button in towards your spine. You're going to hold that. Now, if we're really weak here, which often happens during the postpartum period, then it's going to take time, and then We also have to add some reinforcements without too much. So being sure that our ribs are stacked over our pelvis, but we're not crunched and we're not just feeling it in the upper abs. No, we are notorious for just using our upper abs. So when I connect to my TA, notice how my pelvis just slightly tips backwards, so I'm in a better stack position. So I'm gonna hold this for about 5 seconds and then I'm gonna let go. And then I'm gonna repeat that. So I'm gonna pull in, hold, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then let go. You can do these holds longer, but this is just a beginner exercise. But that's the second progression. Do that 10 times or for a minute. The third progression, or the third sequence, is connecting to the pelvic floor. So you're gonna gently connect to your pelvic floor by engaging the bean that's sitting in your vaginal canal and your anus, 2 separate beans, gently contracting and pulling those beans into the canals, holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, letting that go, feeling that between your sit bones, and then repeat. As you connect to your pelvic floor, you shouldn't feel this really anywhere else. If you're butt squeezing as you connect to the beans, you know that your glutes are kicking in. The glutes can already be kicked in as they support your hips and extension. Then, once you go through that sequence, we can combine the two. This may take you time to get there, or you may want to start here. So what I mean by that, I'm going to inhale, and then I'm going to exhale. I'm going to gently connect to my beans and my belly button at the same time. With doing that, I'm going to feel it between my sit bones just gently and then feel this around my belly button as opposed to just around the belly button or just between the sit bones. I'm going to let that go gradually and then I'm going to repeat that. All the while I'm keeping my position, not losing it, not losing this stack position. And then I would do that about 10 times. Then the next progression from there is going to be a front rack hold. So think about it. When we start squatting, we're in a front rack position. When we get into a clean, we're in the front rack. So front rack's a little bit trickier in that there's other muscles that have to be working, but in general, same postural considerations, opening up the chest. We breathe here in an optimal position. We do that for 10 breaths, or we do that for up to a minute, and then we move on to the belly button in, and then we do the pelvic floor, and then we combine the two. The third position is going to be in a overhead hold, like a snatch grip. From here, same idea, 1 minute of breathing or 10 breaths, connecting to the TA for either 10 times or 10 for a minute, pelvic floor, and then we combine. Not everyone is going to be able to do this as you progress to different positions. So the further away our hands get over our head, the harder it is to maintain connection. So as you're doing this, pay attention to things like doing weird things with your tongue or your jaw. When your jaw drops or you start doing things with your tongue, that tells me that you're using your small, deep core of your mouth or your outer core of your mouth to help with stability. So the more in the alignment you are everywhere, and I don't know if I was in the video, but the more in line you are, the better. As you get better with this, then the idea is to connect it with movement. So if I'm front squatting, I'm gonna make sure I'm in a good connection, and then I'm gonna inhale down, exhale up. Or if it gets really heavy, I have different breathing techniques, and everyone is going to be on a different level and need a different type of intensity behind their contraction. I have a system of how I treat or assess and treat my clients and patients, and I can tell you that there's a format I follow, but everyone's different. Everyone's pelvic floor is a little bit different. Some people who I'd think, whoa, that person is strong, needs a lot more in their pelvic floor. Another person needs a lot more in their lower abdominals. So it's not a one-size-fit-all model, but the progressions are pretty similar. It's just how someone needs to approach it may be a little bit different. So an exam is always helpful. If you have any questions about this, shoot me a message or leave them in the comments. And then before I forget, this is a great exercise or activity to do before the workout starts, before the warm up or during the warm up. So if questions, comment below, reach out. Otherwise, thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next video.